Hello, hello, hello. It's Sarah from I Am Simple Natural Life. Thank you for joining me. If it's your first time on the channel, subscribe. If you've been here for ages and you haven't subscribed, still subscribe, please. I am here to talk to you today about the fact we don't have a bedtime. And this is something that I vaguely mentioned on the We Have No Rules thing. Well, I more than vaguely mentioned it, but it's something that people are quite interested in. So I thought I'd tell you a bit more. This is something we started when my youngest child was, I don't know, about two. So if you're thinking, well, my children are too young, I can't not have a bedtime. Sorry, that's a rubbish excuse. And out of four of my children have some level of learning disability. I have one severely disabled daughter, and one who has high functioning autism, so that kind of learning disability. So you can't use that as an excuse either. So why did we do this? So bedtime in our house, so we've got four children. It used to look like a couple of hours of hell, really. Okay, so we are respectful parenting, and so we try, very much to treat them with respect and all that kind of stuff, and as you would treat anybody else. And that was fine, apart from a bedtime. Oh God, it was really hard because obviously, you're tired as a parent, you're tired at that point. You want to go and have your own dinner, and well, they just blooming well stay in bed. It's not difficult. Just stay there, go to sleep, please. And we basically, not every bedtime was rubbish. And in fact, compared to a lot of people's, it wasn't really rubbish at all. It could have been a lot worse. But even, with four children, it takes a long time to get them to go to bed anyway. But we ended up getting in this situation. Well, first of all, the high functioning autism daughter, she ended up being prescribed melatonin, which is a kind of a drug medicine thing that helps. Like when you're getting sleepy, your body naturally produces melatonin. Well, she didn't seem to have that natural kind of cue, and so the paediatrician offered us this melatonin, and I felt really uncomfortable about it because I'm not really into that kind of stuff. But we thought, okay, yeah, let's give it a go. Maybe that's worth trying. And it worked, but I was never that happy about it. So that was her. Her elder sister, who doesn't have any sort of identified special needs, but she was really quite anxious, especially after she started school. She was the one that she did go to school for a year, and then we took her out to home educate, and her sleeping really went downhill when she went to school. And it ended up being that I would spend 2 hours maybe sat on her floor in her bedroom waiting for her to go to sleep. Oh my God. It was dull, frustrating, boring, annoying. It was just, and then I just thought, this, I'd heard of people doing kind of independent bedtimes, and I always thought, well, that's not going to work for us. That's just weird people that do stuff like that. And then after a couple of hours of sitting on her floor for however many months that I did it, and then, suddenly your perception changes and you think, I'm going to try it. I'm willing to try anything. And so we did. And this also coincided, just trying to get my timings right, but it coincided with, we had gone away to France, and we'd gone for like a whole month, because we can do that because we work for ourselves and stuff. So we'd gone for a whole month, and it had been like lovely, and because it was really hot, like we were right down at the bottom of France, it was super duper hot, and we were going to bed naturally a lot later than we would normally go in the UK. And we noticed that my child that took the melatonin, she didn't need it. And it occurred to us that actually it's just that her body clock is that much later, then, so, you know, we were trying to put her to bed at 7 o'clock or something in the UK, because that's bedtime in the UK. She just wasn't tired. So she didn't have the melatonin for the whole time we were in France. And so when we came back, we changed things up and we started this independent bedtime thing. So just bear with me. It was brilliant. So we got rid of bedtime. And this was with a, let me think, 6, 5, 4, 3. Yes, so my eldest would have been 6, and she's the one that's severely disabled. So she's operating on a, not even a toddler level. She's somewhere between kind of baby and toddler. Then I had a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, and then she must have been 2 still, 2 or 3. Anyway, they were young, and we hadn't done it before. And we went for it. And so we just said to them, and we had lots of conversations about things, so I'll come on to that. But we said to them, ultimately, you don't have a bedtime. You go to bed when you are tired. That was how it was positioned, that you're going to go to bed when you're tired, because that's what we're going to do. And the plan was that they would just, when one of them was tired and wanted to go to bed, they would tell me, and then I'd go and, you know, give them a story and all that, and put them in bed. And it worked really, really well. Now, before we tried, I thought it would be absolute anarchy, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was, we set it up so it was calm. So we had dinner time all together. So I wasn't then having to cook. What used to happen is I cooked their meal, then I tried to get them to bed. Then I was getting stressed because I wanted to cook my meal, and so we took all of that stress out of it. We had one meal all together. Then they would go up and get into pajamas. I would make the house all kind of sleepy. And we had kind of, not rules, but it was, they weren't allowed to do anything that was too exciting, you know. It had to be calm it was calm activities. That's probably the word that we used. Calm activities that didn't involve me, because the biggest thing that stopped me doing this independent bedtime for so long was the thought of losing my evening, because, you know, I had 4 little children and I just needed some time on my own. Do you know what I mean? You know, if you're watching this, you'll know what I mean. The thought of just losing that tiny little bit of time, I just couldn't lose that. And then I got so desperate because I was sat on her floor. I didn't have that time anyway, so I was so desperate. I just did it, and then I had more time. And this was the extraordinary thing. I had more time with them staying up. Like, I had more time to myself, because so they would do things, I don't know, like calm activities. So whatever works for your child, but like jigsaws, drawing, bit of Lego, train set, I don't know. Stuff that didn't involve me. I was not getting out the paints or the clay or Play-Doh, or the bane of my life. We're not even through the Play-Doh stage yet with one of my children, so it's, anyway. Play-Doh, all of that kind of stuff. Other brands, I'm sure, are available, by the way, of that awful stuff. So they would just sort of do their thing. And in fact, we might have read a story all together. We might have done that too. And then whenever they were tired, they went up. So there was a difference. There was an obvious break between our daytime and our evening. At that time, we didn't have the TV on either. There was no TV after that point. That has changed since. I mean, we're another 5 years on, 5 or 6 years on, something like that. So it has all changed up since then. But at that point, that was easier for us. I think maybe especially with the little ones. I mean, because their program, if they were into, a lot of the kids' TV programs stop anyway. which is helpful. But for us, it was just, that's how we did it. But, you know, whatever works for you, try different things. It's not, once you start, you have to stick with that. You can also change things. And ours has changed immensely over the 5-6 years that we've been doing it. It's really, it evolves all the time. It's never static. At the minute, it looks like one thing, and in a few months' time, it will look like something very different. And it also, for us, it changes with the seasons a lot. So in the UK at the minute, we're coming into spring. We've got like the evenings are getting lighter. So we're more likely to spend some more time outside. Maybe the kids might want to do some sort of later evening trampolining, which might not be classed as calm activity perhaps. But as they've got older, it's mattered less. So don't want to waffle on too long, but I had more time. They seemed to just get it that they were doing their thing. And I did have to put in place boundaries and say, no, you're doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. But even the little one, she just went along for the ride. She got it, and it was one of the best things we've ever done. Honestly, it was just brilliant. And now, you know, I see parents and they're really battling with like, how do I get my child to go to sleep? And I've been there, and I just wanted to say, you don't, just stop battling with them to go to sleep, because that's half the problem, is because you're fighting with them about, like, you know, come, just go to sleep. That's not really sleepy inducing, is it? You know? So, and that's no disrespect at all, because I have been there very, very, very much. Very much. And I'm not there now, because we changed something and it worked for us. And so that is what I am here sharing with you. It really worked for us. And we did it at a time when, because I'm thinking, because we home educate, so the having to get up for a certain time thing doesn't apply so much to us. But saying that, my eldest daughter, she does still go to school. And when we started, my second daughter, she was also going to school. So we still had that. They still had to get up at a certain time back then. But it still worked, because it's all about, we talked very much, really often to them, even when they were that little teeny tinies, about recognizing their sleep cues. So we talked about, you know, why we need sleep and all that, but really it's about listening to your body and having body autonomy, and recognizing when you're starting to feel tired. And that's something that's really valuable, and something I hope that they will take with them into their adult life. So many adults have trouble sleeping, and I do wonder if some of it is because we never learned really like how to manage bedtime and sleepy stuff ourselves. Because, you know, if you went through the same thing, where you're just being told, right, it's this time, so off you go to bed, shut up, go to sleep, then it didn't seem to matter if you were tired or not, or what was going on, and if you could actually sleep, you just kind of had to go. And I wonder how much that has impacted us with our adult disrupted sleeping patterns. Now, that is no scientific knowledge there, that is just me with my personal wandering mind, but I wonder. And my children now, they have no trouble getting to sleep. They all go to bed at different times. In fact, I've got one who goes to sleep after me. That's the one that used to be on the melatonin. I naturally go to sleep relatively early. She goes to sleep a bit later than me, and that's okay. And you can have your own boundaries about what that looks like. You know, perhaps you need them to be in their rooms, perhaps, at that time, but they just don't have to go to sleep. But, you know, you will come up with what's going to work for you, but maybe just try it. If you are struggling to get your children to go to bed and go to sleep, and it's causing conflict and unease for all parties, because it's it's just not a nice situation, and it kind of hangs over you a bit through the day, and then you feel resentful because you couldn't get your tea, and then you had to go to bed late because otherwise you had no time to yourself, and therefore you haven't had enough sleep, and therefore I'm grouchy today, and it kind of spirals. Maybe just try it. Just try it and see how it goes. And you might have, especially if your children are a little bit older and have really, they've had this for a long time, this whole forced bedtime thing, they might, push it a little bit at the beginning and be thinking, oh, hey, we can go to bed really late and we can do what we like. But actually, once they understand that this is just normal life and you're not going to take it away from them, and it's not something to be like showy offy about, it's just a human right. Like, just when you feel tired, go to sleep. It's good human practice, whatever the word is. Then it won't be a big deal anymore, but you might just have to go through a little bit of a transition period while they're a little bit overexcited about the whole thing. But it's just make it as boring as you can. That worked for us. It's not a big deal. Just when you're starting to feel a bit tired, let me know. Anyway, so I hope that helps. I hope it kind of makes sense. Try it and just see. Please subscribe to the channel and you get to be my new best friend. And also have a look at my Facebook, Instagram and all that kind of stuff, because I'm posting on there every day with just, super amazing, brilliant stuff. So I will see you soon. Bye.